Hi, everybody. Welcome to the weekly recap. I'm glad you tuned in. I'm billing it as the special marathon edition because this week my daughter Eileen finished her third New York City marathon, and very proud of her. Here's what it looked like. I admire just everybody who can finish a 26-mile race. That is absolutely outstanding. Now, I have to clean up some omissions that I inadvertently made in last week's recap. And the first one concerns another race, and that is Andrew McNally, Kerry's husband. He and his running mate won in the Basking Ridge Town Council election that was held on Election Day. They won with 60% of the vote, and by the way, I mean, that's a landslide in just anybody's book. So congratulations, Andrew. Looking forward to see what your legislative agenda is going to be. Now also, Andrew's son, Alex, learned how to make the letter E, the capital letter E, and he did a really great job. Here's Alex with his E, and you'll notice he also makes D, so he named this drawing Ed, and drew a little picture of me. So congratulations, Alex. Great job. We had a special event that occurred here in Vero Beach, and that had to do with a cattle rustler, believe it or not. Here's a special report on the Wyoming cattle rustler found in Vero Beach. The McCanch Park section of Vero Beach is probably the last place on earth you'd think to find a Wyoming cattle rustler, but we did. His name is Scott Edward Smith. What happened was, a few weeks ago, he was out and driving erratically, pulled him over, showed an Idaho driver's license. The police checked it and turned out it was suspended. And they also found out he had arrest warrants pending from both Idaho and Wyoming. The one from Wyoming was for cattle rustling. They took him to jail and did a little more examination and discovered that he was also doing some substantial cattle rustling right here in Vero Beach at Bacta Farms. This is a small corner of the Bacta Ranch, and those are cattle grazing behind me. This is where Scott Smith was. Ranch manager. Now you may be wondering, how is it that somebody could steal several hundred head of cattle from this place? You know that would never happen on Yellowstone. John Dutton would be on top all over it. But the fact is that Bacta Farm is actually owned by some kind of a conglomerate. They've got properties in France and New England, and Smith had the run of the place. He actually ran just everything. So that was the way he was able to do it. Well, he and his accomplice, the woman who actually transported the cattle down to Okeechobee, are sitting in jail right now. They're waiting for trial. He stole well over $250,000 worth of cattle. And right now, Wyoming is thinking about extraditing him back to Wyoming so he can stand trial for cattle rustling there. This isn't quite a Yellowstone type story, but it's getting pretty close, and I think quite surprising for Vero Beach. We'll follow this case and follow it closely. We'll keep you fully informed. Last week I promised a report on the new Vero Beach Yellow Pages, and I know a lot of you were expecting that, and here it is. Last week I had promised a report on the new Yellow Pages. You can see it here. I delivered last week, but I didn't have time to review it. Now the first thing you got to notice is how thin this thing is. Now this is covering towns of Vero Beach, Sebastian, Micco, Fellsmere, and it is really tiny. Now when you look at it, it's also got the white pages in it, but the white pages are far and away the smallest part of it. I think most people are like me. They don't have landlines that would get you in the Yellow Pages, and I'm certainly not in here. Get you in the white pages, I should say. Now, also, where typical Yellow Pages in the past have had all kinds of interesting information in the beginning of it, public service type stuff. They only have a couple of pages. They do have, let's see, they do have the usual coupons you expect. And they've got some tips in here, like the benefits of having a hobby and things of that sort. Now, I went through the listings, and I did a pretty thorough review, and you're just not seeing anything that's of interest. In other words, there's no listing for witches, fortune tellers, exorcists, things like that. You're just not getting them. Most of it is air conditioners and, drilling wells and things of that sort. And my assumption is that what's happened is that the internet, Google, has simply killed the Yellow Pages. But there must be something to it, because they do come around, they deliver it. But it's not something that you can, as I've done in the past, where you can sit down and say, hey, spend an hour flipping through, looking for interesting stuff. It just doesn't have it. For them to tell you energy economy, figure on replacing your light bulbs. Who needs it? It's not that informative. Very disappointed, and I always used to look forward to the Yellow Pages. I would, when I traveled a lot, I would go into a hotel room and I would sit and flip through the Yellow Pages and just see what's going on in the different cities I'd be in. Anyway, that's my report on this year's Yellow Pages, and they call it the real Yellow Pages. It's actually a combination of white and yellow, but on the whole, a major disappointment. Well, that's my report for this week. It's been a pretty busy news week. I don't know what's going to be coming up next week, but looking forward to it. I hope you all have a great weekend and a great week, and be sure to come back next Friday for more news. Remember, when news breaks, we fix it.